Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating and air, restoration, flood and remodeling services for over 40 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit billhowe.com. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marco Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.
The San Diego County Board of Supervisors is taking steps to move forward without Nathan Fletcher. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Fletcher says he'll resign from the board in May amid sexual assault allegations. But most of the other supervisors want him gone sooner. KPBS reporter Matt Hoffman has more on the special meeting being held tomorrow.
Supervisor Nathan Fletcher was on a medical leave of absence for PTSD and alcohol abuse when a former colleague accused him of sexual assault. Fletcher denies these allegations, but says he'll quit the Board of Supervisors in May. Now, a no-confidence vote calling for Fletcher to resign immediately has been docketed for a special board meeting Tuesday.
It is clear to me that the only way to move forward is without Supervisor Fletcher on this board. I believe he should resign effective immediately.
Board Chairwoman Nora Vargas says there's too much work to be done without distractions from these allegations. Former Metropolitan Transit employee Gracia Figueroa says in a lawsuit Fletcher forcibly kissed and groped her. It's not just Fletcher's supervisor colleagues calling for his resignation. A coalition of council members from cities across the county also say he should step down now. They say that's to initiate the process of rebuilding public trust, saying it doesn't serve the public good for him to remain in office while performing no duties. We reached out to Fletcher's office for comment. A spokesperson for the supervisor says he's unable to respond while he's in treatment. Regardless of when he resigns, Vargas says there's 3 options to fill his seat: appointing someone for the rest of Fletcher's term, appointing someone until a special election is held, or just holding a special election.
I have no doubt that united and with input from the community, our board will determine the best direction for our county.
Voters in Fletcher's 4th District are majority Democrats. His absence leaves split power on the board with 2 Democrats and 2 Republicans remaining. San Diego State political science professor Brian Adams says Democrats want this resolved quickly.
They want another Democrat, so they want to fill that seat as soon as possible.
The supervisor's vote is symbolic. Ultimately, the timing of the resignation is up to Fletcher, which he's previously said is May 15th. Matt Hoffman, KPBS News.
A statewide program to help Californians looking to buy their first home is already out of money. KPBS reporter Jacob Ayer talked with experts about what other help might be out there to get that down payment.
The California Housing Finance Agency launched the Dream for All Shared Application Loan Program just 2 weeks ago. It offered qualified first-time buyers up to 20% off their purchase price of a house or condo with 0% interest on that extra money. But the Shared Equity Program has already run out of funds and can't take on any more applicants.
I got a lot of new clients inquiries who said they were interested in this program and only this program. They wouldn't be able to buy without it. And those clients, plenty got pre-approved, but unfortunately the funds ran out so quickly that a lot of clients didn't get to take action with it.
Real estate broker Ali Urgabi says it's a particularly attractive program compared to other similar offerings. The help was available to households whose earnings were below Cal HFA's income limit. For San Diego County, that's all the way up to $211,000, so a lot of people qualified. But that drove demand much higher than the supply of the funds. Veronica Remsbottom was one of the many San Diegans who applied and was pre-approved, but didn't get the loan.
And I was really excited about it. As a single mom, I've been looking to get pre-approved and into my house since 2018, and yet it just keeps getting delayed for one reason or another.
Last Friday, the Cal HFA website announced that all the funds have been reserved. Urgaby says she's telling her dozens or so interested clients that all is not lost, even though the funding is gone for now.
There's a lot of clients who had hope that this was going to be possible for them, and then they're losing hope, like, okay, I'm out of the market again now, right? And so one thing that I'm talking about is there are other down payment assistance programs, but there's also already talk that there will be more funds coming into a program like this because it is so very needed.
State lawmakers had set aside $500 million for the program as part of the 2022-23 budget, but a difficult economic situation for California led to a 40% cut, and the program ended up with $300 million. That was expected to assist about 2,500 home buyers. Cal HFA told KPBS that additional funds are dependent on the state budget process, which will play out in the coming months. Jacob Ayer, KPBS News.
It's been nearly 6 months, but train service through San Diego and Orange County is expected to return to normal next week. Today, officials announced that tracks in San Clemente that were affected by erosion have been fixed. The Orange County Transportation Authority says the emergency work posed an unprecedented challenge, especially with the heavy rainfall this season. The Amtrak Pacific Surfliner will resume full service next Monday with 10 round-trip trips each day between Los Angeles and San Diego. New data show a dramatic rise in the size and length of auto loans in San Diego and Imperial counties. KPBS reporter Katie Hyson looked into how this is affecting low-income buyers.
Doing budgets one-on-one with individuals and families, I've been noticing the car payment is getting a little higher, and it's becoming a little concerning in many cases.
Felipe Arevalo is a community outreach coordinator for San Diego Financial Literacy.
It's making them put other things on hold, perhaps saving, being able to purchase a home.
The average new auto loan in San Diego and Imperial counties is over $10,000 more than it was at the start of the pandemic, according to the California Policy Lab. Consumers are compensating by taking out longer loans, but that means paying a lot more interest over time. And the chair of San Diego State University's economics department, Hisham Foad, says it presents another obstacle.
You're increasing the chance that your loan's going to be underwater, meaning that you owe more on the loan than the car is worth. That's especially true because now we're starting to see used car values coming down.
So what to do if you find yourself unable to keep up with an auto loan? Arevalo recommends talking to your lender.
Sometimes the lenders will have programs to help you out, review your budget. See if there's things that you can cut. And then if it's available to you, you could look into possibly refinancing that auto loan.
The big takeaway?
It's not going to go away if you ignore it. You really want to address it.
Arevalo says many people have no choice but to take on these loans. They live in places where public transit is not a viable option. Katie Hyson, KPBS News.
California regulators could completely upend the way utility bills are calculated in the state. KPBS environment reporter Eric Anderson says San Diego Gas and Electric has submitted a plan to charge for power based on income.
California lawmakers opened the door to a major overhaul of utility pricing when they passed Assembly Bill 205. It requires the California Public Utilities Commission to develop an income-based monthly fee system for the state's utility customers. It is a move that fits well with San Diego Gas and Electric's vision on rates.
We've really been focused a lot on comprehensive electric rate reform.
SDG&E Senior Vice President Scott Kreider says the current system rolls all of the costs of maintaining, protecting, and developing the grid into the cost of a kilowatt hour. That's one reason why SDG&E customers pay the highest electricity rates in the state, almost 47 cents a kilowatt hour. The actual cost of electricity is less than half that. The utility proposal separates the cost of electricity and the cost of maintaining the grid.
This is really about taking, our existing rates and really changing how electricity is priced for customers again, to make it simpler, to make it more predictable, and to really create that savings for lower-income customers.
San Diego Gas and Electric's proposal moves those grid upkeep and development costs into a fixed monthly fee that would drive down the kilowatt-hour rate for electricity. And just like the existing system, Customers who use more electricity would pay more.
We really think that that is a way to, again, keep bills stable, make it more transparent, and again, it helps us lower the cost of electricity by about 42%.
The size of the mandatory fee would be based on household income. The utility suggests 4 levels, from a low of $24 a month for a household of 4, making $28,000 a year, to a high of $128 a month for households of 4 making more than $180,000 a year.
The fact is that middle and lower income customers on average are going to save money, and we think that even our higher income customers who may not benefit right away are going to see very substantial savings as they begin to add, again, those EVs, that electric water heater, in response to all the new state mandates here in California.
And the utility argues that the lower electricity rate would encourage state residents to embrace technology that uses electricity instead of fossil fuels. It's an idea UC Berkeley professor Severin Borenstein offered recently in a study commissioned by the nonpartisan group Next 10. He argued income-based fees bring more equity into utility rates and help encourage customers to buy climate-friendly technology.
So it would definitely improve the economics of electrification, whether it's transportation, home heating, water heating, cooking, stoves, and so forth.
Customers would be more likely to install appliances that use electricity because it's cheaper.
There have been no pilots, no experiments, no trials, as they call them, to see if this even works.
Ahmad Faruqi is a Bay Area economist who's worked on utility rates for decades. He says customers will likely focus on the overall bill, not the cost of electricity and the high fixed charge separately. He says overall electricity bills are widely expected to keep going up, even under this proposal. And he says utilities around the country have had mixed success adding even small fixed charges.
And suddenly to go from $0 even to $25 is a humongous leap. Then to go all the way to $128 and to justify it on the basis of saying we are just trying to make the state mandate more affordable, that's just hyperbole.
The solar industry is also bracing for bad news. New rules taking effect this month slash the value of rooftop-generated electricity that can be sold back to the grid. Fixed monthly fees would make it even harder for residents to recover the cost of installing solar panels. The Solar Rights Alliance's Dave Rosenfeld thinks the plan will be good for utility balance sheets, but he's not sure customers will benefit.
In general, high fixed charges discourage people from reducing their electricity use, whether through energy efficiency, conservation, or rooftop solar. We know that's like hands down, a proven thing.
The California Public Utilities Commission is considering a number of proposals, and regulators will have the final decision on how income-based fees will be determined and where and when the fees will be applied. Eric Anderson, KPBS News.
Los Angeles schools and union leaders have reached a deal. Members of the union representing thousands of workers have voted to approve a new contract with the LA Unified School District. The move comes after a 3-day strike held in March. The union says more than 99% of its members voted to approve the new agreement. It also says the contract is a major step forward with significant improvements to wages, work hours, and benefits. A new challenge to abortion nearly 1 year after Roe v. Wade was overturned. A Texas judge has ruled to revoke an abortion drug's FDA approval. Now, as Laura Aguirre reports, the case could be headed to the Supreme Court.
The Texas ruling, which would suspend the FDA's long-standing approval of the abortion drug mifepristone, is only one part of an increasingly complicated legal tug-of-war.
We have this other case in Washington, which is essentially finding exactly the opposite of what this extremist judge in Texas has found.
The Washington ruling Friday protects the use of the abortion drug in 17 states and the District of Columbia, among them Connecticut. And the message there was clear Monday.
Medication abortion is in Connecticut legal, safe, effective, and available, period, full stop.
The Biden administration vowing to use all legal means to fight the Texas ruling.
The president's made the commitment. We're going to use every available resource to protect a woman's right to reproductive health care.
South Carolina Republican Nancy Mace says her beliefs are pro-life, but also common sense.
90% of America is somewhere in the middle. And I think that 90% would be okay with listening to the FDA rather than a judge.
As the legal appeals to Friday's Texas ruling advance this week, Representative Mace has a political appeal to her GOP colleagues.
We are getting it wrong on this issue. We've got to show some compassion to women, especially women who've been raped, because by and large, most of Americans aren't with us on this issue.
I'm Laura Aguirre for KPBS News.
California is taking action to protect access to reproductive care. Today, Governor Gavin Newsom announced that the state has secured a stockpile of another abortion medication that can be taken on its own. More than 250,000 pills have already arrived, and the state plans to purchase up to 2 million doses as needed. A new study finds the highest rate of life-threatening complications during pregnancy could be based on where you live. Coming up, how abortion laws may play a role. San Diego is repairing aging street lights in neighborhoods across the city. $3.5 million has been set aside to replace street lights in Pacific Beach, Point Loma, and Logan Heights. Most of these lights are more than 70 years old, and if one fails, it impacts all of the lights on that circuit, resulting in a lot of outages all at the same time.
Many of us may remember growing up old-fashioned Christmas tree lights where one light would go out and the whole string wouldn't work.
It is no secret that street lights are failing faster than we can repair them.
The city says they'll fix a total of 200 street lights, but that's just a small amount of the 6,000 lights that still need repairs.
We are talking about more in the way of low clouds, even perhaps some wet weather as the marine layer continues to deepen into Tuesday. Also, we're going to be talking about some cooler air arriving a little bit later on this week. Those are just a few of the headlines. Take a look at some of the rainfall amounts, and these will be historical averages. Keep in mind, the month of March, again, historical average 1.46. We were leaps and bounds above that, but so far into April, it's been very, very dry. But you're beginning to see that transition again over to the drier season. Partly cloudy. We'll be slipping down into the mid-50s as we venture our way into the overnight. So comfortable sleeping conditions yet again. Let's open it up area-wide. Borrego Springs 62, Mount Laguna down to 50, Oceanside and Chula Vista both dropping down to right around 53 degrees. Now here's a look at Futurecast. Not to that much of the way of wet weather to talk about, but there will be some cloudiness rolling its way back in. Not picking up on all the low cloudiness here, but we're going to see some of those clouds roll their way back in toward coastal and even some of the interior valleys. You're going to start off a little on the cloudy side. Again, we had some of those dense fog advisories out early this morning. Could see those again as we head our way toward late tonight and early tomorrow morning. But once the low clouds and the fog burns off, going to be a nice afternoon. San Diego 67, the same toward Oceanside, Chula Vista, Borrego Springs up into the mid-90s, Ramona 76, and Mount Laguna topping off at 60. But check it out. As we go down the road, I talked about the little cooler air moving in, some low clouds again toward the coast. So only in the 60s. Could even see a shower Thursday. And then we'll start to turn the corner by the weekend. 65 by Saturday. Over the interior valleys, low clouds will break gradually on Tuesday. Not as warm Wednesday. Could even see a shower around with clouds Thursday. And then we'll start to turn the corner to here. Sunshine, pleasant 70s returning for the weekend. Over the mountains, also looking at wind being a factor Wednesday and Thursday. And cool. Some showers out and about and cold on Friday. Still chilly heading in toward the start of the weekend. Toward the desert, looking at the heat on Tuesday, and then a turnaround with some cooler air and some breezes with a shower Thursday, warming back up Friday into Saturday. For KPBS News, I'm meteorologist Justin Pavic.
The city of San Diego is responding to an increase in hepatitis A infections. Public health officials are hoping to prevent an outbreak like we saw back in 2017 by providing 10 additional hand-washing stations near homeless encampments. Hepatitis A spreads through close contact and fecal matter, so good hygiene is key to stopping its spread. The county typically sees 2 to 3 Hep A cases per month. 8 were reported in March, and 16 total have been reported this year.
That's why we're taking it seriously. But I also want folks to realize that this is still a relatively small number of infections. It just happens to be in a population which is unusually vulnerable, and we don't want it to get out of hand.
And KPBS went out to see two of the new hand washing stations. One had no water, and a city spokesperson says they are serviced and refilled every day. A study from the Scripps Research Institute shows that cravings for alcohol can be medically controlled. It allowed people with alcoholism to reduce their alcohol use by more than half. KPBS SciTech reporter Thomas Fudge spoke with researchers and has this report.
The study focused on apremilast, a drug that's been approved by the FDA for use on the skin condition psoriasis. Scripps Research conducted a clinical trial with 50 people who had severe alcohol use disorder. Barbara Mason is a professor of molecular medicine at Scripps.
And we found that the individuals who were treated with apremilast reduced their drinking by more than half, and the people who were treated with placebo had no change in their drinking. And this actually was a very large effect.
Apremilast, which goes by the brand name Otezla, reduces cravings for alcohol by inhibiting a molecule in the brain known as PDE4. Jim Dunford is the director of the McAllister Institute, a substance abuse treatment center in San Diego. He said he knows of no other drug that's aimed at reducing alcohol use that's shown the same effectiveness among problem drinkers. He says mounting a medical attack on craving should be part of alcohol treatment.
Craving is a key component of alcohol dependency. People spend inordinate amounts of time thinking about it, and the idea of I got to have a drink basically starts to preoccupy them to the point where, all the other things in their lives start to take second place.
Researchers say the next step is to test Otezla among a larger group of drinkers. Thomas Fudge, KPBS News.
Giving birth could be more dangerous based on where you live. A new study says the highest rates of life-threatening complications during pregnancy or births are in Washington, D.C., California, Nevada, New Jersey, and New York. As Elizabeth Cohen reports, abortion laws appear to be playing a role.
Bonner County, Idaho. Picture perfect, idyllic. A great place to ski or swim or fish, but not a great place to have a baby.
I just found out a couple weeks ago via Facebook that my local hospital is shutting down their OB unit.
Leandra Wright has 6 children, and now she's 5 months pregnant with her 7th. 10 minutes away is Bonner General Hospital, where they've been delivering babies for more than 70 years. But next month, they'll stop. That means when Leandra's new baby is born this summer, she'll have to do this 40-mile drive all the way to Coeur d'Alene. On a good day, it will take 45 minutes.
It's frustrating and worrisome.
Leandra has a history of fast labors. Her son Noah was born on the way to the hospital.
My 5th child was born on the side of the highway.
New moms in Bonner County aren't alone. Since 2011, 217 hospitals in the U.S. have closed their labor and delivery departments. In the past year alone, hospitals across the country have stopped delivering babies. Money is one reason. The American Hospital Association points out that almost half of U.S. births are paid for by Medicaid, which has low reimbursement rates. Employer-sponsored insurance pays about $15,000 for a delivery, and Medicaid pays about $6,500. Bonner General says one reason for shuttering their obstetrics unit is because they won't have enough providers certified in neonatal resuscitations. And abortion laws appear to be playing a role too. A hospital press release says due to Idaho's legal and political climate, highly respected, talented physicians are leaving. The Idaho legislature continues to introduce and pass bills that criminalize physicians for medical care nationally recognized as the standard of care. While Bonner didn't specifically name abortion, the state does have one of the strictest anti-abortion laws in the country, banning the procedure almost completely with only a few exceptions. Next month, Leandra's obstetrician will stop seeing her.
Even us existing patients will have to find other services. It just really is surreal that it's something I have to worry about.
She needs to find another obstetrician and then figure out what she can do to avoid giving birth on the long road to the hospital.
Was Elizabeth Cohen reporting. KPBS recently covered the closing of a maternity ward at Palomar Medical Center in Poway. You can read more about it or listen to the story at kpbs.org. A record number of dogs are being cared for by the San Diego Humane Society, and to encourage the community to help out, they're offering a new incentive. Volunteers who foster a dog weighing 50 pounds or more for 2 weeks can get a $100 gift card. 50 gift cards are available, and you have to pick a dog from a pre-selected list and complete a training session. The Humane Society is currently housing 462 dogs at its 4 campuses, putting them at 132% capacity. You can learn more online at sdhumane.org/foster.
I'm Jeff Bennett. Tonight on the News Hour, a mass shooting in downtown Louisville, Kentucky leaves multiple people dead. The details coming up at 7 after Evening Edition on KPBS.
And here's a look at what we're working on for tomorrow in the KPBS newsroom. There are plenty of books for parenting babies, toddlers, and teens, but does the work ever really end? On NPR's Morning Edition, an author shares his advice for parents with adult children. And from affordable housing to a proposed ban on homelessness, KPBS Midday Edition is diving into some of the biggest issues facing San Diegans. And you can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Good night.
Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating and air, restoration, flood and remodeling services for over 40 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit billhowe.com. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marco Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.